Hey guys, it's Matt with Operation Awesome Life, and want to shoot a quick little video for you guys today. I'm in my car, as you can see. Don't have a very good car mount, so this could be kind of interesting. But I wanted to talk to you guys today about something that I think is interesting. I don't know if you guys will think it's as interesting as I do. A few years ago, when Karen and I... Whoa. There we go, already fell. Hold on. Try this again. So a few years ago, when Karen and I moved out here to Florida, I had to do something that I said I'd never do again, and that was valet cars. So I said I wouldn't do it again because I wanted to, I wanted to move on. I wanted to create my own business. And I moved away. Karen and I moved from Colorado, and we wanted to start fresh with new stuff, working on new things. But, we had to make ends meet. And so I went back to valeting cars 3 days a week. And that was that's how we paid the bills until I figured out what I was going to do. And so, but one of the cool things about valeting cars is I got to drive a ton of really awesome cars and just see them, stuff that you would never see, unless you either had a lot of money and were very wealthy, or were a valet. So I gotta drive, Ferraris, Lamborghinis, Aston Martins, Rolls Royces, Bentleys, pretty much you name it, I was able to drive it. So that was kind of a perk of the job, and it was definitely something that was kind of cool. So with that being said, I wanted to talk to you guys and say since I have driven those cars, and I do plan on increasing our life and moving up as much as possible, what cars that I would choose at each price level. So if you, let's say that you were able to afford we'll start low. We'll start at we'll say you were able to afford a $60,000 car. What car would I choose and why? The car I would definitely choose at $60,000, without a doubt, this is an easy one for me, would be the Jaguar F-Type. I don't know if you guys have seen that car. They start at 60, and I do believe they go actually up to like 90, 95,000, something like that. But the Jaguar F-Type is a sweet looking car. I mean, it kind of looks like maybe like a cross between a Ferrari California and like a Aston Martin, but smaller. It's a sweet little car, tons of power, even in the V6 model, which the V6s start at 60. The V8 is just ridiculous how much power it has, almost too much power for that little car. But yeah, for $60,000, I would definitely go with the Jaguar F-Type. If you're gonna bump up to say like we'll say 90, let's say like 80, 90,000 range. At that range, I would definitely go with the Mercedes-Benz CLS 550. It's a 4-door, but that car is sweet. Karen and I call it the bubble butt car, but we also call it the Audi, what is it, the A7, the bubble butt car, just because how they look. But that car is really a sick car. I mean, it's so much power. It's a 4-door, but it feels like a sports car. It's really, really awesome. If you're gonna jump up to 100, let's say 110,000, 105,000 range, I would go with the SL 550 Benz at that point. I don't think there's really anything, unless I'm off at about $100,000 range, that is that sweet, with that much power, tons of power, very, very nice to drive. The handling on the SL 550 is just unbelievable. I mean, that thing hugs you. The seats just hug you when you go around a turn. I mean, it's crazy. Actually, the handling in that car is better than most cars I drove. If you're going to bump up to we'll say 100 and 130,000 range. At that point, I think you're kind of looking at like a Maserati, Gran Turismo. You're also looking at a Audi R8, and you know, there's obviously some SUVs. Like you could get a I don't know why it's skipped. You get a G-Wagon or something like that, which I do like SUVs, but this is mostly focused on cars. For the 130,000, I would probably have to go with an R8. I love the Maseratis. Don't get me wrong. Karen really loves the Maseratis, the Gran Turismos. But an R8, I mean, that thing is just crazy, and you don't see very many of them. I mean, they're amazing cars. I only drove one of those, I think, one time, actually. That's one car I hardly ever drove. There's just not very many of them, and they're super sick. I love those cars. So I'd have to probably go with the Audi R8. If you're going to jump up, let's say, actually, at 130, you also have like a, I believe the Aston Martin Vantage you could get for 130. And I would say that that's pretty sweet too. I still probably would go with the R8, but that's just me. So if you're gonna jump up to, let's say, I think there's a pretty big jump, honestly, from the 130 to, I really think it jumps real quick from 130 to the next thing you know, you're at like 280. At least that's the prices I've looked at. So at 280, I think you're looking at Bentleys. I think there's a couple Ferraris you could get, maybe. I think you can get a McLaren at 280. That's kind of what comes to mind for me at 280, that 280 range. At 280, I would, honestly, it would be, if I could get into a Ferrari, I would probably do that, just because it's a Ferrari and that's just incredible. Yeah, actually, I think you have some Lambos there too. If you guys come up with any ideas, let me know. If you know of any cars in that range. I would probably go with the Ferrari though at that point, but I do love the Bentley coupes. Not a huge fan of the four-door, but the coupes are pretty sweet. But driving wise, I mean, the Bentley's amazing. Tons of power in that car. It's crazy. So okay, so if you're gonna jump up again to, I think at that point you're looking at like, we'll go to like 400,000. At that point, I'm definitely looking at Lambos, Aventador. I'm also looking at Aston Martin Vanquish, which is probably my all-time favorite car. I'm a huge James Bond fan, so I love that car. It's unbelievable. I would probably have to go with the Vanquish, no doubt. And as you're approaching 500, you're looking at, you know, the Rolls-Royce, the Phantom, of course. And that car pretty much stands in its own. You know, above that, I'm not really thinking above that. I'll be honest with you. I'm not looking into Bugattis or anything like that. But you know, that's kind of like the steps as far as I see it. Let me know what you guys think. Hope you enjoyed this video. Talk to you later. Bye.